Hey there, sixth graders, and welcome to week number 5 of remote learning. In this informational video here for week 5, we will go through and preview your week, talk a little bit about some of the upcoming assignments as well as some of your graded work, your grades in general, and any other important announcements that we might have. So, let's go ahead and let's dive right into it and take a look at our remote learning doc week number 5, where I show not only what work is going to be graded, but how I'm grading it and how I suggest breaking it down or chunking it into smaller pieces throughout your week so that it's not too overwhelming and that you'll hopefully be done by the end of the day on Friday and you can enjoy your weekend. So let's go ahead and take a look at this week's remote learning doc. So here is the remote learning week number 5 doc, and we'll go through here. And this is mostly there for you to kind of understand how I'm going to grade in terms of like how many points are assignments, and is it a completion grade, is it an accuracy grade, as well as then my suggestion of how to break down the week into small, manageable pieces so that you do a little bit every day, but yet you're still done by the end of the day on Friday, and you have your whole weekend to enjoy. All right, so as you look up here at the top, there are 4 assignments this week that are graded, and it doesn't seem like it's a lot because the big push this week is that very first thing, which is your open note test. So that's the big thing for this week. It's going to be on Study Island, and it's worth 28 points. Okay, the next section of this video, I'll go through and I'll explain a little bit of how you can be successful on that test, some suggestions of how to be successful on the test. After that, we're going to start our new unit. The new unit is called Cells. It's our first biology unit. And we're going to start with just a couple of days of an introduction to the microscope. Unfortunately, we will not be able to use microscopes through remote learning, but I do feel it's important for you to still learn the parts of the microscope and some of the procedures for microscopes, because eventually one day you will be using a microscope, whether it's in middle school or in high school. You will be using one, and so it is still important. So we'll just spend 2 days on that for Wednesday and Thursday. Okay, so if we look at the beginning of the week, on Monday, you're just watching this video, and then you're taking this document and you're planning out your week. So this document isn't just to help you with science, but you should be using this and kind of putting it towards all of your other classes so you can make one big master plan of how you're going to attack the week with all of your classes and getting the work done. Tuesday is the test. That's the only thing I want you to do is the test. Wednesday, like I said, we'll start our new unit and we'll start with microscopes. So there's an Ed puzzle to do on Wednesday, and then there is a doc called Microscope 6H worksheet. I would like you to begin that on Wednesday and then finish it on Thursday. All right, it's pretty self-explanatory. There's a couple different parts on there. Do your best as you go through it. I even have an extra credit part down at the bottom that I think is pretty cool. So hopefully you take advantage of that. And then the last thing is the beginning of the actual new information, which is an introduction to cells. And so there is a reading guide that has an article along with it. So you're going to have 2 documents there. One is the reading. There's nothing to do on it except to read it. And then the other document is the actual reading guide. Some of it is answering a question. Some of it is filling in blanks to a statement that is in the reading. We've done these all year, so I'm not worried about you having any problems with those. Okay? So that's the week. There's the breakdown for you of how I suggest chunking it. Let's spend a little bit of time here talking about that test on Tuesday and some strategies to be successful on that open note test. All right, so let's take a moment just to talk about this open note test that you're going to take through the Study Island website on Tuesday. So first of all, when you log into Study Island, okay, Study Island, on the login site, it gives you 2 options. Log into Study Island Home, log into Study Island School. And even though you're at home, you are still using a school account. So you still have to select Study Island School when you log in. Otherwise, you won't be able to log in and your login won't work and you'll be all confused. So it's Study Island School, not Study Island Home that you're logging into. Once you log in, because it's a test, it might not just show up on your opening screen. So you're going to have to go over to the side and click where it says My Classes over on the menu. And then under our class, when you click into our class, you will see the Forces in Motion test. It is an open note test. So I think that the best strategy for you is to make sure that you have the documents that we've used over the last 2.5 weeks open, ready to go, so that when you come up to a question, you have those documents already open and you can just kind of go through them and skim through them to get to the section that you need that's going to help you to answer a question. So let's talk about what those are. You have obviously the review guide that you just had to finish. There were class notes on motion. There were class notes on net forces. And then all the way back to the beginning, there was class notes on non-contact forces. So the test is covering non-contact forces, net force. Okay, so that would include like how to calculate net force, the deal with balanced and unbalanced forces, and then the last part is motion. So talking about how we can perceive motion and how forces affect motion. So those are the three things. Those are three different documents for the class notes. So 3 documents for the class notes plus your review guide. That's 4 different documents. Between those 4, that should pretty much give you everything you need to help you to take the test. Now remember, because this is on Study Island, the questions that they're going to come up with might not be exact questions that you're going to find the exact answer in any of those notes or resources that I just mentioned. They usually give you a question that's applying the same concept. So for instance, if they're giving you a question about trying to calculate the net force of something, you might not be able to go back to your notes and find that exact answer for the net force. But you can go back to your notes and reread the section about how to calculate net forces, review that. Hopefully that's like, oh yeah, okay, I remember how to do that. Then you go back to the Study Island question and you know how to then attack that question to answer it. So even though it's open notes, it's not like all of the answers are in your notes. All of the information to help you get the answers will be in those notes and resources. But the answers themselves, you're going to have to really be able to apply the concepts and apply that information from all the resources to help you answer the questions. So even though it's open notes, don't assume that it's just going to be a cakewalk, right? You got to make sure that you still know this material and understand it so that you can apply the information and the concepts from the notes into the questions on the test. Okay? All right, guys, that's it for this week. So hopefully it's not too taxing in terms of the amount of work. Do your best on that test. Remember my office hours if you need any help, 1 to 2 o'clock Monday through Thursday this week, always through email. If I haven't talked to you specifically in the last 2-3 weeks, please stop into an office hour and just say hi, even if you're on there for a minute, just so that I can see how you're doing, see your face. It would be nice to see some of you I haven't seen in a couple of weeks. So have a good week. Talk to you soon.